Hello.
Hello. I was already poised ready. So, good evening, Simon, Brackett, and Strange Alex R.
Strange, Brackett, Simon, and the other 5 that are watching that haven't said anything
YouTube.
yet.
Yeah.
YouTube, how you doing? YouTube. Here we go. So
how you been, Simon? Anyway.
Today I am absolutely shattered. I got up at 4 this morning.
Oh, bloody hell.
I've had a busy day. I left work twice.
Yeah, I don't think this heat's helping people neither today.
No, I mean I left work. I got 20 miles away from work and had a phone call and had to turn around and go back to work and then head home again. Yeah, you are actually. And then then come home. I was home about an hour and then put all the bike gear on and went out again and come home again. And I'm just shattered and I've got to be up early in the morning to go to Coventry. So
no, chuffing hell. So,
hence I'm not having a drink.
I watched your video the other day on my Xbox. One of your 360 videos.
Oh yeah.
And it's absolutely brilliant on the Xbox because you can use the controller to sort of move it around and that. It's better than using my phone because your video on my phone make me feel
it's hard
sick.
to do it on the phone. On the computer's the best one because you can scroll it round and it will stay where you point it.
Yeah. But I thought I'd go on the Xbox.
I caught the sun.
You did. I was going to say that earlier.
Quite neutral, didn't I? We've been out there all day, seriously, in this heat.
Hang on.
And it looks like our Argo. Bright red. I turn into a lobster, I do.
But so I mean, they are good on the computer, and if you've got a VR headset like I've got for the PlayStation, you can do the VR YouTube, and you can actually literally sit there and look around.
Yeah, right.
They do adult content for them now, don't
they? You can do.
It's worth trying, during passionate moment with her indoors.
No, that would mean me having to be passionate with her indoors. I ain't doing that.
Yeah, but the idea is you've got an image of someone else. I mean, I tried putting pictures on the headboard, but she won't let me anymore.
Hey Zed, how you doing?
Zed.
How you doing, guys? All right.
Yep, just melting slowly.
Oh,
process.
27 degrees here. Look.
Oh,
that's 23 here, according to Alexa.
That's mental.
I call it freaking hot.
Yeah, I don't think so much it's the heat; it's the bloody humidity what goes along with it.
In the old back garden.
I'll tell you what, I'll be in that fucking pool, mate.
I would be.
Hello.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Go away. Get your own friends.
Oh, it's Shell. Hello, Shell. You had a drink, have you, love?
Yeah, just a couple. 40.
No, that was 4, more than she should have when she should have stopped. Sunny in Manchester, really?
See, there lies the problem. It's 69% humidity at the moment here in Nottingham, and that's why everybody's melting.
Yeah, very chill.
Because I've been to bloody Turkey and we've been out in 44-degree temperature in Turkey.
And it ain't felt bad, yeah.
And it's felt absolutely lovely, because it's a dry heat, it's not the humidity.
I've been in Alabama, and that's quite dry there, and it's the same temperature as in New Orleans. The New Orleans is just fucking damp. Humidity. And Florida's the same. You go to Florida, it's just a humid heat. And
because it's swamps and everything. Yeah. So, I mean, like I say, we've been to Turkey and, it's been up in the 40s and touching on 50s and you're walking around with it and it's perfectly all right. But you come over here, we go up to about 30 degrees with the humidity and it's like, I might as well go and sit in the rainforest in Malaysia or something,
Oh, Scotland's coming in with a bit of money now, isn't it, Zed?
Yeah, how's that?
How's that? 200 frigging light bulbs that I'm paying Scottish Power to run.
Oh, it's Andy Titmarsh, isn't it? You're doing your gardening bit.
That's good. That's
I
that
know.
sort of, you're using all our wind energy, that's what it is.
That's it. Yeah. Just put the meter up her arse, she farts, it powers them for a week.
14
raining up
degrees.
Oh, it's peanut down. Yeah.
We've got that coming tomorrow, so hopefully it'll cool things down a bit.
Yeah, a minute. It's warmer than my laptop.
Yeah, you're getting that heat coming up from we're getting a weather front coming in from the west.
23 here today.
Yeah.
22 at the minute.
So the warmest we'll get at the weekend will be 18. I think 17 Saturday, 18 Sunday, 19 by Wednesday.
Yeah, well, we're according to, I'm just looking at, let me have a quick look at the Met Office. For here in Nottingham, in East Midlands, it's going to be 17 tomorrow with rain, 18 on Sunday, glorious sunshine on Monday, Tuesday, so it's going to be 19 and 21 Monday, Tuesday. So it's going to feel absolutely bloody horrible on Monday because of the rain we've had.
Not good.
Well, that's what you get for being landlocked.
46 minutes left on this battery, so we'll have to go and get the charger. We'll be back in a sec.
Oh, mate,
No problem, Andy. And don't get me started on bloody e-scooters at the moment. Woman in Nottingham got killed. Well, basically, she died of her injuries. 14-year-old lad hit her basically on one of these e-scooters, and she's died because of her injuries because of it. And her bloody young girl, where was she? Yeah, girl 6 years old suffers a broken leg after being hit by an e-scooter.
Yeah.
And her brother's got bruises. Because Nottingham, we're one of those trial cities.
Yeah.
For the stupid things.
We are as well. We've got around here.
Yeah.
See, at the end of the day, see if you read doctors' reports about the effects of people riding on a locomotive train. They said at 6 miles an hour, the human frame will not be able to sustain the speed, and our internal organs will collapse.
Yeah, like the old Stevenson rocket days. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like there has to be sort of evolutionary times, and this is one of them. It's like the old biddies are just going to have to jump out the way if they see one of these scooters.
Well, the problem is it was a privately owned one, not one of the public ones.
Right.
Now, the public ones, I know, are restricted on speed.
Oh, they will be governed, yeah, because
Yeah,
I mean,
they're all
I know
governed.
some of the I mean, like I've seen a couple of videos of those segways, and the segways can do, I think it's about 30, 35 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Some of them, there's hacks that you can get into the ECUs and get them up to 40 miles an hour.
And that's the problem.
These people are going to, so it's basically like they're able to drive or ride on the road without any sort of
any MOT safety gear or anything, insurance or anything.
No training, no nothing. Yeah.
No. And that's what I'm saying. That lad, 14-year-old lad, what hit that woman was on a privately owned scooter, not a, hired one.
Yeah.
So.
Now power.
And if you actually read the law on them, they do have to be registered and taxed and insured and bloody everything. Those things, those scooters, if you're going to use it on the road. Well,
that's why only the companies can rent them at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Because otherwise you've got to insure it and everything yourself to be able to legally ride it on the road. But the problem is there's too many of them out there what are unrestricted and, causing bloody serious injuries to people. But they are a pain in the arse. It's like yesterday I was out on the bike waiting to pull out from the chemist, and one of them came whizzing past on the bloody main road. Up the cycle lane on the main road. One of them came whizzing past, privately bloody owned, and he was going faster than the chuffing cars were. Yeah.
They're little fuckers.
But then if everyone was using then congestion would be far less.
Well, yeah. Well, get everybody on motorbikes. Yeah.
But then you wouldn't be able to find a vacant wall plug socket anywhere, would you? Because they'd all be on charge.
Just to sort of clarify, I'm not agreeing with the use of them. I'm being the devil's advocate, and like I can understand where people are going with the whole sort of if the young see it. I'll give you an example, right? Say I've got 3 kids, right, and say my 3 kids were to all pass their driving test. Every one of them is going to want a car.
Car on the drive.
I personally own a car, so that's
Mm.
another 3 cars on top of my car that's coming into my street. Now, say there's 10 other families with 3 kids. That's an extra 30 cars.
Cars,
Now, it's not sustainable. We don't have enough space for them all to be. Where do they go? But if you bring in an alternative, say for example, my son works locally and feels that a car's not a viable option to him, and one of these e-scooters, but it's used, it's regulated, and there's the facilities and the correct sort of areas or zones for them to use them, then that becomes a viable option. And what it does is reduce traffic congestion.
Yeah.
But it has to be programmed right from the start. We can't just let this tech generation just on you go.
I think the problem is because they're so easy to buy privately, and there's no.
Well, Halfords are selling them now. They've launched a range. Halfords are selling them.
Yeah.
Carrera.
But you go into AliExpress just now and type in electric scooter, and you can get an electric scooter from AliExpress, which will deliver within 7 days. You'll pick it up, and it's £1,500, and it will do 40 odd miles an hour.
Yeah, and
easy.
And that's the thing. People aren't getting the training because that's why you have to have a full car license to hire one of these things.
Yeah.
So at least you've had some road track. I can understand that. I ain't got a problem if somebody's passed the driving test and got one and insured it and made sure it's road legal and using it. That ain't a problem. But it's when you see, people whizzing around on them who've probably never passed the driving test in their life, and they're causing death and injuries.
I could show you my son on a scooter.
Well, your son's a bloody expert on them, isn't it?
You know what I mean? I'm just watching. I'm just seeing what Crumbly's saying about 14-year-olds on scooters. It's like I know like a whole about 30 or 40 14-year-olds.
Yeah, but that's a push-along scooter and not an electric one, isn't it? And he's using it in the skate park.
The control's still there.
Yeah, but he's using it he's using it in the correct environment, isn't he? Not on the Republic roads, Yeah. There is a difference. Oh, by the way, I watched that pizza box thing you were telling me about in America. The bank heist with a bomb around his neck thing.
Yeah.
Watch that.
Yeah.
It's bloody good, actually.
Very interesting. Yeah, definitely. I actually watched yesterday. I watched a documentary about a young guy. He was kind of a savant, sort of on the autistic spectrum, and was very, very highly into computers. And he was German, and he started to skirt around the dark web and discovered the whole sort of subculture of being able to go onto a platform like eBay that basically all it sells is narcotics.
Yeah.
But what he saw was that the marketing, the advertising, and everything regarding it was that poor that he realized there was a gap in the market.
Yeah.
Now, because of his condition, he didn't see the moral or ethical
problems with it.
He just saw a problem and he knew he could solve it. So what he did is he started contacting these people. He started building up a supply chain. He created one of the best websites in the whole of the dark web with regards to selling this stuff, and he was selling it out his mum's house, and he was getting DHL and other postal services to deliver it for him. So everything was at arm's length, and he was making millions of pounds, and he was getting paid in Bitcoin. It's quite interesting.
Well, no, that one you told me about where he beats the delivery guy where they put the bomb around his neck.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I with watching that, my personal opinion was because there was talks he knew about it.
Yeah, that's right.
But when you actually watch the very end, when they speak to that woman who was seeing,
yeah,
she introduced him to the drug dealer guy she was dealing with, and he introduced him to the other two, and I think he was an innocent party in it all.
Yeah, that's right. It made you feel so sorry for him because like obviously like it shows you what it shows you right at the start, and then sort of tells you the story of how it got to that.
And I still think it was that nutty woman and that bloody bloke.
Yeah.
Who he built the bloody bomb, and it was him and that woman because he was what was it? The family wanted him to sell the family home, didn't they? Yeah. And he only got offered 90,000 for it, but he wanted 200. He told the real estate to put it up for 250K.
Yeah,
and that's exactly the same amount of money they wanted out the bank.
Yeah. Did you? You're talking about real estate. That just triggers another one, and that was. Have you ever seen the documentary about the Amazon killer?
I've not watched that yet. It's on there.
Yeah. So basically, it was a cop killer or something like that. His name was. It begins with a K because I can just see the he was a realtor in America, and he was a very, very successful realtor. But he bought a Suzuki GSX R750 from a bike dealership, and he didn't know how to ride a bike, and he got the bike delivered to his house, tried to ride it, obviously frightened himself, took it back to the dealership. And because the dealership got a wee bit thingy with him, he basically killed the 4 people in the bike dealership. And that went undetected for 9 years. So in that time, he became a real estate, working in real estate. And basically what happened was he started inviting couples to his property with the promise of work. And what he was doing was it was like boyfriend, girlfriend, or couples. He would murder the guy and basically abuse the girl. But what he was doing was he was like he was going on to Amazon and like buying a knife, and he was leaving a review saying this knife is ideal for cutting rope when you're tying up a victim, and that was the review that he would leave.
Oh dear.
And like he would buy chain and he would say, this chain's great, I've not had anyone escape from it yet. And the same with padlock. And that's how he became known as the Amazon killer. Because he was leaving the clues everywhere.
Yeah.
And eventually in the documentary, you actually see the police doing a raid on his property. They find a 40-foot container, and there's a girl chained at the back end of the container.
Of it, yes, I saw that. I saw the actual being rescued.
Yeah, so that's the story behind that.
Yeah, because I watched the Tesco bomber guy. I watched that one. Right. And I watched the Diamond Geezer one about the Millennium Dome heist as well. I watched that one fairly recently. So, but yeah, sorry, we're talking true crime dramas on Netflix. I'm terrible at the minute.
I think I've watched most of them myself. So.
Yeah, I find them really interesting.
Yeah, that Tesco guy was interesting how they caught him. With a post box.
Yeah, but see what I was talking about with that German boy. They had criminal psychologists, and they had doctors, and they had lawyers and everything, and they said this guy had all the traits of an entrepreneur and could have quite easily set up a company and did exactly the same, but done it legitimately. But because of his condition, he never understood that there wasn't anything ethically wrong or legally wrong with what he was doing, because everything was at arm's length. I think that's the thing with kids today as well. It's like this digital technology. It's like even human interactions that kids have just now, even with people in their school. I think when they're texting a kid and they're maybe saying something that's maybe hurtful or offensive, because they don't actually see the reaction that they're getting from it. It kind of sort of numbs them from it. Yeah.
But sorry, we're just talking about true crime documentaries we've been watching. So, that pizza box one, that was because it was I can't remember what. Because he said it's a very, very clever, not pizza box, pizza bomb. They said it
Yeah.
was a very, very clever scheme what they came up with. And when they actually tried to go around doing that key hunt thing,
Yeah.
you know, with the clues, they actually worked out that he wouldn't have had enough time to do it anyway.
No.
He wouldn't have had enough time to do it. But God, that was horrific what they did to him.
Yeah,
So,
that's crazy.
yeah, but it's like I said to my missus, I said it's something like you can see where the Saw film got its ideas from. You know, the horror film Saw. It's like they must have watched that and thought, "Oh, right, a film along these lines." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, are people getting these ideas for this from the Saw film?
Well, no, this happened before the film.
I think I think it's like the probably films have got ideas from previous serial killers, and then the new serial killers have got the idea from the films, and it just self what is it? What is it? The what? I can't remember what the word is, but anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, like I say, they're on Netflix, but
yeah. I think the Amazon one port that I actually got off that was just YouTube basically.
Yeah, but I know they're on. I know the Amazon Killer is on Netflix.
Because I also watch a podcast called the Behavioral, the Behavioral Experts.
Yeah.
And like one of them's like a United States military psychologist. Basically, he deals with, or he trains people to do interrogations and read body language and stuff like that.
Yeah.
One of them works with the police. The other one, they do seminars and stuff like that. And it's like a 4-man podcast, like we're sitting just now, and basically they review the very things that we're talking about, and they talk about body language and what to look for and telltale signs and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And that's quite interesting as well.
Well, like I say, it's interesting how to catch them. So sorry, Andy, carry on.
I have to keep popping off because it took 5 hours to fill that pool up, and it holds thousands of litres. I don't want to waste the water, so I'm pumping all the water into the water butts so I can reuse it in the garden.
Yeah, don't blame you.
Checking them because they're filling up quite quick.
Yeah.
I don't like wasting.
Upcycling, recycling, good idea.
Fair play. To be quite honest, I'd be firing that in the bath and putting the kids in it now. But Andy, I wouldn't be embarrassed.
Washing it earlier.
Get this open.
But yeah, I do find them very interesting, and I do like how they eventually get them. It's like that bloody Tesco bomber guy, how they eventually worked out which bloody post box he was sending stuff from, and the letters. Old Sally was using the name, wasn't he? It was quite interesting now, then, you know, how that was done.
What you find with a lot of them is that they have to tell somebody how clever they're being.
Yeah,
that's what you notice. Is like they'll either they'll find out who the head detective is, and they'll make contact. And it's like even the Yorkshire Ripper. Remember when the Yorkshire Ripper case? There was a guy who basically contacted them and started giving them information and so on and so forth. You know, it's like they all fit a profile.
Well, it was like him, the bloke with his Sally, and the interesting thing about him was he's got no criminal convictions or anything in that line. It was only when they were going to, because they put heavy surveillance on the post box when they worked out which one it was, and one of them things what worried them was one of the people who use it regularly was the copper.
Yeah.
And they thought it was an inside job sort of thing initially, and then they managed to clear him, and they eventually managed to get a very clear picture of the guy who was posting the bloody letters out.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, the German boy that I was telling you about, who was sort of the cyber sort of dealer, as it were, he was using, the postal drop boxes that you get at the garages now. See, like the forecourts, the garages, and you can get an Amazon package and that delivered there. That's what he was using. And this was part of the thing. It was an arm's length deal. He would send it to that that location, and the person would come and collect it from that location. So there wasn't actually physically two people meeting, and there wasn't a physical transaction. So they didn't know him, and he didn't know them. And he consistently deleted all their information. It was really, really interesting. It's one that I would certainly recommend.
Keep you upside.
Yeah.
There's one for you.
Real. I'm sitting here yawning away.
He uses a GoPro. That'd be Zed, wouldn't it?
I've got a 10. I love the 10. In fact, I freaked the missus out with it because she had no idea it was waterproof. And I threw it at her in the pool, and it's gone in the pool, and she was freaking out. So she gave it back to me. Right. And I threw it in the pool, threw it back at her again. I said, yeah, it's good till 30 metres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got the 9. I've got the Hero 9. I've also got the DJI Osmo Action. I love that camera because the Hero 9 and the Hero 10, basically, the reason that they've got forward-facing cameras is because of that camera there. Yeah. And it's great because that's the camera I've got. If you can imagine, it faces me. That sits on my wing mirror, and it's great that I can actually see what it's filming while it's recording.
Yeah. Big Smitty Riding, he uses a Hero 8, and he has done for 2 years. And he swears by it. If he's great big kit, so yeah. His latest video he's just put up, he talks about it. So
yeah.
I usually get drift ghost S.
There was I'd noticed that there was an announcement made. DJI have just joined it's like an amalgamation of like Leica and another few manufacturers, and it's a fitment for a lens. You know how like all the different cameras have got like a different way that they attach the lens onto their units. So they're basically they've joined forces, and they're all it's an L fitting or something like that they've come up with, that they're all going to use the same fitment, which means that every one of them can use the same lens. And DJI has just basically signed up to that as well. So DJI optics could just be taking a turn for the better if they're using Leica lenses and stuff like that.
GoPro 8 for 300 quid. Is it about 375 quid you can get the 10 for now? It's on offer, isn't it?
I've just put up actually. If you go to GoPro themselves, they've got some really good deals on at the minute. Yeah. I bought mine direct from GoPro and couldn't find it cheaper anywhere else.
No, that's one thing that I did notice with the 9. When I get the 9, you couldn't find it anywhere that was doing it cheaper than GoPro itself, because I think they were even giving you a discount on the annual subscription and stuff like that as well. Is that right?
Yeah, I packaged deal at Christmas and got a few different bits and bobs and the annual subscription and stuff all thrown in.
That's what I just like my drift at the minute. I'm happy with that on top of my helmet. So,
I mean, doing a lot of filming, like obviously up in Scotland and everything else.
Oh yeah.
I run the Ghost alongside the drift as a backup, and the Ghost is all. So if I miss it with the GoPro, I've got it on the Go. When it comes to image stability, clarity, and performance, the GoPro is 100 times better than the Ghost. The Ghost just lasts so long.
Yeah,
and it records everything, and it's like sub 150 quid for the camera. You can't beat it. It's really good.
Yeah, well, I also like the way
I wouldn't have bought a Hero.
Yeah, the other thing I like about the drift is the lens. You know, you can turn it around.
Yeah, you can move it around. Yeah.
So it doesn't matter where you've got it mounted. You can just flick it into the right position, and it will still.
The thing about it is like the likes of the Hero 9, and I think the 10 as well does it as well, Andy. It's basically no matter where you've got the camera situated, whether you've got it sitting at an angle or whatever, horizon levels. Yeah, but I noticed that
has to be a certain degree before it will flip.
Yeah.
You can shake it around like that. The image will
static. Be. And like when I got the Hero 9 initially, it was a wee bit laggy from what you saw on the camera to the actual movement.
I find that if on the GoPro 10, if you put it on full whack, 5.2K.
Oh yeah.
It can be very, very laggy. I find running it at 7K, 2.7K. I tell you what, the clarity is perfect.
When I'm
You can throw
when I'm running that's my sort of vlogging setting is 2.7K.
Yeah,
I don't go
exactly.
any higher than that. There's no
Paul,
reason to.
2.7 is perfect.
just putting in here, Paul. If you look on Amazon, you can get front and rear dash cams now for motorbikes, and they are very cheap. They're not that expensive.
Yeah, the quality's
moment.
not brilliant, but
Bro,
they
Paul,
are cheap. But if you just want it purely for in case you have an accident, then get yourself a drift or something. Yeah, that'll pick everything up. 130 quid. Yeah.
If you look and you see my latest videos, I've managed to because Grouchy bought a drift before we went. So I've managed to sort of marry up some of the images, his images following me while I'm doing my vlog.
Yeah.
So they're up in the top right corner. But yeah, I'll give you an idea of what they're like.
I'll move it across here. Well, there's mine. That's my drift on top of my helmet. It's on a GoPro mount, but the reason why I use that is the actual mount's curved. So it curves with the helmet, the mount does. And I've got some really good industrial double-sided 3M
They're
tape.
brilliant for what they're for. They are really, really good.
And you've got the swizzy lens on it. But mine's on top of the helmet because I'm on a 125. I'm not doing the speed where it's gonna,
it's like we've got to head. I'm thinking, Simon will know you've gone out, you've done a vlog, you come back, you've got no image or you've got no fucking sound, and it just drives you nuts. So I got to Applecross, and it was about 20-25 minute ride across through Blacknabar and across to Applecross, and I thought I'm not missing this. So I started recording on both cameras, and I recorded the whole thing on both cameras. They both come out okay, but I just weren't taking any chances of missing that.
Well, like I say, the reason why mine's on top of the helmet is because I don't need the speed for the wind to affect it, and because of the way the shape of the drift is, it's streamlined anyway.
It's no different with that Ghost. I don't know about you, Si, but I don't feel any difference with that Ghost stuck to the side of my helmet. No, absolutely nothing. As soon as I put the GoPro, which is a heavy camera, on the front, you're wearing that on the front of your helmet.
Yeah. The other reason why I don't like, I know it sounds daft. Do you know when you've got it on the side of the helmet, it's like limiting its view, the lens, if you get what I mean, because you get the helmet in the screen with it, whereas you can
just put like a mini extension in between the fixture and your camera, and it takes it away from the helmet.
I've got mine on top of my helmet, and as I say, it's a GoPro mount, but the mount is curved, so it follows the line of the helmet.
Yeah. You can get a bigger. It's like a J hook or something like that. They call it. It's got like a bigger hook on it, and it will take it slightly away from your helmet.
Yeah, when you're on a 125, on top of your helmet, you're not doing this crazy speeds where it's going to get affected by wind.
But all that will do with the bigger sort of mount, all that will do is if you're worried about the helmet being in your field of view, that will take it away from that.
Yeah, but you see, also because the drift is a little streamlined thing, it's not a brick, it's not like that. It's a little streamlined thing, so it is more, to me, it's more aerodynamic than the GoPro. When I look at it like that. Well, that's how mine's mounted.
I've got my, it's like you'll see in it. I've got mine mounted in the chin, and I don't have any issue with it. I have had a GoPro mounted on the side, and when you're doing motorway speeds, because you've got that flat surface at the side, your head oscillates. You can feel it doing that. And it hurts your neck after a while. That's an exaggerated movement I was doing, but that's the kind of wind effect, turbulence effect you get.
Yeah,
which is why I went for the chin mount.
You think with these go out there active, cameras like that, the GoPro, and same with the drift, it'd be a bit more streamlined and aerodynamic for what they wanted for, rather than a square brick.
Yeah. What you have to appreciate is they're not only used for motorbikeing; they're used for snowboarding, BMX, and it's like that.
Yeah, but even still, you still want them more streamlined, don't you? You don't want to.
I'm
you know.
surprised. I'm surprised a motorbike helmet manufacturer hasn't built some sort of integrated case into a helmet that you can open.
Started building intercoms into them now, so it ain't gonna be long before they're cameras.
Yeah, it's like, can you imagine having a drop-down flap in the front of a helmet that you can integrate a GoPro and then close it over? It doesn't affect the integral. It doesn't. Well, I wouldn't have it up there, to be quite honest, because if
no, but I'm just saying though, you know, if you think about it, you've got all that room there, haven't you, with all your padding and whatever. They could sort of just drill a hole in there, like a pinhole camera, sort of thing, and have all the electronics mounted in.
I think you're looking at you're looking at reducing the safety zone inside the helmet. Then
anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. Or just build a pocket for it on top of the helmet, like you say, so you can shove whatever camera you want in it, or something.
Is it the Innovate 4 or something like that? It is, which is the bike mounted. It's like 4K, and it's like a front and rear
camera.
I'll tell you what,
like a front and rear facing camera. I think Teapot One's actually done a review on them.
Yeah.
And they're the only cameras that are actually legally allowed on bike tracks.
Yeah. I don't know whether you've seen it. Formula One nowadays, it came over from Formula E. They did where it's like in the visor camera here.
Yeah.
So it's like the driver's eye view through the thing. And that's gone over to Formula One. So there must be a company out there what is doing cameras what are
you can get one.
That's not vlog quality.
£2,000 each.
Yeah.
So,
which has got Formula One attached to it, so it's bound to be in the hundreds of thousands of pounds.
Oh, easily just for that camera alone. Yeah, because I mean, like, and you think of the amount of the battery and everything, because even the Wi-Fi that it's using to actually transmit that data so quickly.
The quality's not, like Simon said, the quality's not brilliant though on it. So it's like somebody's got one of those old.
The thing is, if you go back and look at the cameras that you had available to you 20, 30 years ago,
bloody
now
hell.
come forward to that. Yeah. They're going to have in another 10 years' time.
Well, you look at the cameras back in the 80s, they took a VHS videotape in a separate carrier.
Aye.
Yeah.
And Andy, do you know what? 10 years time, I don't even think it will be 10 years time, but we will be doing live vlogs.
Yeah.
Oh, correct,
yeah. You'll be doing that already though, can't we?
Aye, you can, but live.
Who's that?
Hello. Live vlogs in the sense of being able to move from one camera to the other and so on and so forth. As you go, it's like you get it's like a whatever program that you're on. Say GoPro did like a live streaming thing, and say you have three different cameras.
As you go along the road, couldn't you? With a Polaroid.
Yeah.
If you're doing it on a Polaroid, you could just flick it at the fans as you went past.
But that would be amazing. I mean, you think of it this way: you had 3 GoPro Hero 10s that could all communicate with each other. That get all the information that came from that camera gets sent to a GoPro program like that ran in the background. It edited it to. It had an algorithm that could pick the best views at any given time and process that and put it out, broadcast it live, or as close to live as it could be. You could be doing the ride right there and then, and maybe 5 minutes later, that's coming on as a live broadcast.
Yeah. Well,
I think it's possible. I think it's feasible.
I guess.
We're complaining about all these Scottish people take all their money and go spend it in Florida. That's what we're complaining.
And apparently it's now cheaper to go to a private island in the Bahamas than what it used to go to Skegness because of the price of petrol. Yeah.
That's Skeg Vegas now. Did you not see the news? It's Skeg Vegas.
Oh, Skeg Vegas, yeah. Oh. That's where we're going for a week in August.
I would write my testicles in a hornet's nest and jiggle them about for 10 minutes to go up there. What a dive!
Do you know, I haven't been there. I know it's a shithole, but I haven't been there since. Well, we're stopping at Chapel, but I haven't been there for fucking hell.
It's where people go to dive.
Must be what, good 15
we went
years.
Just above Skegness. What's that place just above Skegness?
That's Chapel. No, it's Chapel St Leonard. The little place above it.
It's Mobility Scooter Central. We were there for 50 minutes and counted 43.
I think it's Skegness is famous for having the hotel that had the worst ever reviews on TripAdvisor. It's got
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, my missus and kids have never been there, so we're just going there for a week. So it's a cheap family holiday.
Just drop the kids and missus off and come home and have your own holiday.
No, well, my other daughter's coming with the grandkids because we've got 2 caravans booked. So, you know, it's just going to be a massive family holiday.
Oh, no, you said the word. It's almost as bad as the mobile chemical news I was following around Scotland for a week.
Great Yarmouth's all right. We used to go down to Great Yarmouth a lot, but in Norfolk Broads and that. That was good. Well, we're just going away for a week. It's my birthday. I'm 50 this year. We're going away for the week. The whole lot of us. So.
Any holidays, any breaks good though, isn't it?
Yeah. That's what I mean.
Looking forward to mine at the end of September. So.
Is that when you're off to the States?
Yeah.
I hope you get your flight. You see that on the news? They're cancelling.
Yeah, they're cancelling for July and August at the moment. So I'm at the end of September, and we do that on purpose because it's right out of peak time.
How many sort of flights are they cancelling in the States? Because they say they're cancelling these flights. They don't say where they're cancelling to.
No idea. It's just like half the flights or something. They said they're cancelled. So it could be you get a lot more flights go to Europe destinations, your Spain, Turkey, Greece, and that, than you do America.
Who are you flying out with?
Eh?
Who are you flying out with?
You know what? I don't know. I don't know if it's Virgin or BA, or it might even be Norwegian. I don't know.
I mean, when we went, we flew out with American Airlines, and they were pretty good. But I know they're cancelling flights again because the airports are saying to the haulier companies, cancel the flights early and don't let people turn up to the airport and then cancel them.
Yeah, it's causing chaos. They just ain't got enough staff to get the planes off the ground.
No, it's because of COVID. It's like a lot of places. They furlonged a lot of the staff or got rid of them completely. They've all gone off and got a proper job somewhere else full time where they're not going to get kicked out the door. You know, and they can't get the staff back. No. You know, and that's the problem with them. And it's same with pilots. They can't get the pilots. You know.
Yeah.
And
it's not just the pilots they can't get and the cabin crew they can't get. They can't get the ground staff and the ground staff will be trained properly before they do the job.
I was talking to a guy last week that works in Glasgow Airport, and he said that he's quite high up. He's like in management level, but he went to his directors and he said, "Listen,
he's a pilot."
It's like it's like, listen, we're going to have an issue here. He said, because if the travel restrictions loosen and people want to travel, we need to be putting people on the ground right now, because it takes up to 3 months to get the security clearance for somebody to work at an airport.
Yeah.
And the management at the time did not have the vision, I would say, to actually say, we need to do that. So they're 3 months behind the curve right this minute. And if they turn around and say, we do need the staff, it takes 3 months for that staff to get the clearance to come onto the ground.
Because I know the airport near me, East Midlands, they had a big recruitment drive about 4 months ago at the airport for ground staff.
Aye.
For baggage handlers, security, bloody everything.
Matt, what I think you'll
let them all off.
But what I think you'll find, see when you're talking about these airports are having recruitment drives. What they're trying to do is poach ground crew off other airports by offering these incentives to force these people to ditch the loyalty to their own airport and go and join another one.
Yeah,
it's not fresh ground staff that's coming in. Because
no, these are after all new staff though, because like I say, when COVID hit, they let them all go, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, a girl I went to school with, she was what I would a class 1 stewardess with British Airways, first class flights. I think it was transatlantic she was, and she was very, very good at her job. And Maxine was put on furlough, and she was put on furlough, and at the end of the furlough, instead of her getting brought back, they put her on 90-day notification of redundancy. Now, after the 90 days, they basically said to her, we want to keep you, but we can't guarantee you'll be on the same flight. You may be transatlantic, and then you may go short haul, long haul. Said we can't guarantee that you're going to be on the same flight. You will have more responsibility, more duties, and it's for less money.
Yeah.
And she politely refused, took the redundancy, and she is now, during furlough, trained and is now a paramedic.
Yeah.
So you think of how many people have actually done that.
That's what I'm saying. They let all these staff go because of COVID.
They lost all their skill base.
They've all gone, right, I need to go and find a normal, what I call a normal job, a proper job.
Exactly.
And that happened with the same place where I used to work, with the security and everything. You know, they got rid of all the bloody staff, and then when obviously everything opened back up, they were having to do a massive recruitment drive to get people to come and work for them again, because a lot of those staff had gone off and got themselves a 9 till 5 guaranteed paid job where they knew they weren't going to get laid off. You know, so...
Yeah, there you go. And also, they've also got the problem now. There's actually more there's more job vacancies out there than there are people to fill them.
Yeah,
we've actually got more people now. We've got more job vacancies out there now than we have unemployed people. So.
Yeah.
But how do we get the people that are unemployed that don't want to fill the vacancies that are available? How do you force somebody that doesn't want a position that's readily available to them and they could take? Because, say for example,
that's benefits.
Well, but Andy, it becomes a trap. It becomes a trap. I'll tell you why. It's like, my wife works for the NHS. She's a domestic in the NHS, and I've got 3 kids. And the way that my wife worked only at the weekends. I work all the way through the week, and the way our wages fall in, we were entitled to child benefits, which obviously the Inland Revenue tell you this, and they say this is what you're entitled to, and that's what you get.
Yeah.
So when COVID hit, through no fault of her own, my wife was actually, they said, listen, you need to come in. If you can come in any hours extra, you need to come in. And basically her hours went through the roof. Now, it wasn't like she was seeking these hours. These hours were created through the circumstances that we found ourselves in.
Yeah, now, you lose your benefits because of it.
Exactly, Andy. That's exactly what happened. The benefits come back to us and said, your wife is now earning more than within the bracket. You actually now owe us money. And one, we've lost the benefits. 2, we're right in the cusp of the government withdrawing all the extra funding that they were given to all the National Health Service hospitals. So she may actually lose the extra hours that she was getting that will now be no longer guaranteed.
Yeah.
So for her helping out the hospital through COVID, we're going to lose her extra hours plus her benefits. So how does that become fair?
That's the problem. They're making it too easy for people.
Yeah, because I'm not working at the moment, we've done the thing with the marriage tax allowance where I can give my tax allowance to my missus.
Yeah.
Some of it,
Yeah.
a certain percentage of it.
Yeah.
So we've done that at the moment until I get myself back on the feet and find something I enjoy doing again, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what we've had to do at the moment. So.
Well, I mean, the likes of my wife, because technically it's only 15 hours, which is not taxable anyway. So we did that as well because my wife doesn't get taxed. So they increased her tax. They reduced her tax. So she's taxed earlier, and they gave that additional tax on to me, but it still doesn't equate to being fair, for the simple fact that she was doing something to help. See, as far as I'm concerned, what my wife did during COVID was like national service. It was she was doing a national duty. It was something that was required at the time. It was asked of every single person who worked in the National Health Service to be punished for it.
My missus worked all the way through COVID because of where she works, because it's, you know, crime and everything. The courts don't stop.
No,
you know. Well, some courts did, but where my missus works didn't. So she was working all the way through COVID because they had to.
Yeah.
You know, and not because they did try sort of like, you know, some days staff would be working from home and some would be working in the office and things like that. They were doing that.
So see the thing about it is, like, Simon, see the point that you made, and it's a very valid point in the fact that we now have more jobs vacant than unemployed. Now, what I think the government have to do is they have to look at, say, for example, I don't know what the figure is for unemployed persons within the UK, but they have to look at what the average income that these people are getting on benefits, and they have to subsidise every single job that is vacant just now, so that when somebody takes one of these jobs from the unemployment list and goes into employment, they must be, I wouldn't say better off than what they're getting in benefits, but they can't lose any money, because it does. And it's that opens up a massive debate in itself. But it's the only way that they're going to fill the unemployment gap is you can't tell somebody to come off the unemployment list and seek a job that's going to pay them less than what they're getting just now in benefits. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make financial sense. I wouldn't do it. If I had a family and like I was turning around to my wife and saying, by the way, I've got a 39 hour a week job, but it means that we're £400 a month worse off.
Worse off, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, this is the quandary that...
well, that was the stupid thing, because when I used to do the office equipment job, I had a company car and that lot, and at the time, we actually worked out financially, we'd be better off if we role reversed. So my missus went to work.
Yeah.
And I stayed at home because I had a company car. I was paying company car tax and everything else on it and that. And I was earning less than what we was when we role reversed.
Yeah.
Yeah, the income coming into the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like when we were fortunate enough to have our first child, my wife and I looked at childcare. So my wife was in full-time employment, so was I. We looked at childcare, and when we looked at childcare, my wife would have worked 39 hours, and I think she would have come away with, I think we worked out a couple of £100 a month.
Yeah, because
after we paid for childcare.
When I told my boss what we were planning on doing, he went, because he wanted to give me a pay rise. I went, I don't want it. I said, you give me that, I'm going to lose a load of money.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do you mean? I says, well, we're actually looking at the moment, me and the missus, that I quit my job because of the company car and everything and stay at home and look after the kids because of childcare costs and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she goes to work and we'll be financially better off.
Yeah.
And I went, give me a couple of days to look into that. And he looked into it and he came back and he went, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, well, what happened was we actually came to the conclusion that my wife gave up a full-time job, and that's why she now works at the weekend. So she works 15 hours in the hospital at the weekend, and because she doesn't pay taxes, because it's 15 hours, it's non-taxable.
Yeah.
She's not much less because she works Saturday, Sunday in the hospital. It's time and a half and double time. So when she does that over the month, she's not that much less a month than she would have been in full-time employment.
But this is where the benefit system is stupid in this country, because it actually makes you not want to work.
Yeah.
Rather than actually encouraging you to work.
Yeah. Well, you look at what France does.
Stuff off you.
But you look at what France does. France, if a husband and wife or a partner or whatever are having a kid, they give benefits. I think it's less tax or whatever. They put them onto a lower tax bracket, so it allows them to earn more money because they're basically bringing up the future generation of the country, and it's a good thing, and they're trying to encourage it instead of you being fiscally penalised.
This is where this country is wrong, because it's like if you go out to go to work, you get penalised for working, rather than actually being encouraged to. And like you say, the problem is that, like Simon said, there's more jobs than what there is people at the moment. But the problem is a lot of those jobs need you to do a 3 months probation period.
No.
So you go into that job, you work those 3 months, and they turn around and go, "No, sorry, you're gone." And then it takes you another 6 months to get all your bloody benefits back.
How quickly do you think all the positions would be filled if politicians were fiscally rewarded for those positions being filled?
Yeah, they'd be the next day. Yeah.
They'd be filled instantly.
There's no financial benefit for them. So there's no vested interest, so it doesn't interest them, because it's just this is a problem for the minions. That's as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and it's like you say, and it is bloody stupid, because I forgot what I was going to bloody say. Because the other thing, that was it. The other thing as well, and not being funny, but a lot of the migrant workers from like Poland and that, a lot have all gone back to their own countries, haven't they? Yeah. Because of the situation over here. Yeah, they've waited and gone back, haven't they? Because it's like they've worked out they're better off back in their own bloody place than what there was over here.
Well, it was a viable option when the cost of living was better than it is just now. Right now, they're not getting the bigger bang for the buck as it was, because I worked with a guy maybe about 10 years ago, and he just came out of the Turkish army. His name was Ishmael, and he was a lovely guy. And he came over to the UK, and he worked in my factory, and he did a job in the morning before he came to work, and he did a job after. And I said to him, "Ishmael, what is it you're doing? Because like you're working 3 jobs, you're working." And he said, I'll work here for 5 years. I said, "And what do you get out of that?" I said, "I got a 5-bedroom house with a swimming pool in Turkey for my family, and then I go home."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like,
well, they was getting like €2 to the pound and things like that, weren't they? That's why they all came over.
You look at the exchange rate.
That's exactly that. That was
look at the exchange rate for the English pound to whatever it is in their country. It's like you go to places like Thailand and that, you can live like a bloody king for like 500 quid because of the exchange rate.
Yeah.
It's because of how strong the pound is against their own currency.
Yep.
So you can see why they come over here, work for a couple of years over here, or 5 years. They earn the money over here, and by the time they're done, they've probably earned like equivalent to like $1 million in their own currency, because of the exchange rate.
You just look around you. It's like I've never been unemployed. I'm 49 this year. I've never been unemployed in my life. I left school at 16. I actually left earlier than I had my job before I sat my exams. I had my engineering apprenticeship before I sat my exams, and I've worked ever since.
Yeah.
And you look at people around you, and you look at you look at what they're doing, and like you have even like with the likes of my kids, and like they've got parents, and it's a single parent, and they're driving an Audi. It's like a top of the range Audi, and they're doing this and they're doing that, and they're going Spain. They're doing. Do you know what I mean? And like, my wife and I both work non-stop every hour that God sends, and can't do half of it these other people are doing.
And,
like,
I totally agree with that, because I'm not mentioning names or anything, but you know, I know people who they've got like the latest bloody Xbox,
well,
widescreen TV for that Xbox. They've got a normal TV in the living room with Sky and everything, with a massive TV. They're going out on the piss every weekend. They're going abroad for holidays and everything, and not one single one of them works. And yet, you can get like you know, and your missus and me and my missus and that lot work, and you can't afford it.
Yeah. In a sense, it doesn't bother me, because I know that what I'm doing right, and I don't strive for. I don't strive to have a massively big fancy house, a massive
I know.
Cars I can do without. If I never had to own a car, I wouldn't own a car. I would have 100 bikes. I would never have a car. I don't want fancy clothes. I don't. It doesn't bother me, but just you just want that. If you're doing the work and you're putting the grind in, you just want rewarded for it. You just want that wee bit of.
But you don't in this country.
You don't seem to.
I get up in the morning and go to work because I like my luxuries in life. I like my bar, I like my aircon, I like my bike. If I didn't work, I wouldn't have it.
Yeah, that's it, Andy. That's it.
That's
but if you know how to play the system, which a lot of people do nowadays,
but the thing about
all of that.
Yeah. The thing about it is, Andy, is like, especially like during lockdown, I've seen a lot of people that I know in my area that aren't working, that are sitting pretty much where you're sitting just now, in bars and gardens with $7.5 grand hot tubs. You know, it's like
and they're getting the council tax paid for them. They're getting the rent paid for them.
Yeah.
The only thing they've got to pay is the utility bills.
And during COVID, they got that extra
£100 and everything.
Aye.
Yeah,
it's money for
it's
nothing.
Because they know how to play the system. That's what it is. They know how to play it. You know, and that's like you say. This is wrong. Oh, our government's wrong. They penalise you for working, big time. It's like you say, we like your working tax credits and your child tax credits and that lot. You go slightly over that amount of money, and they're going, no, we're not giving you that now, and start knocking it back heavily, rather than going to, oh, yeah, you're earning this much, here's X, Y, Z on top of it because you're working. No, it's not like that. As soon as you go 1 pence over that amount, minimum amount, to be able to claim those benefits, they're going, no, I want 20 quid back off you.
Ali, see you later.
Yeah, good night, Ali.
The wife gets up and works, and at the end of the, I mean, that holiday I had to Scotland come in at around 1,600 quid for the week.
Yeah,
that's a month and a half's disposable income for me, so it's nothing.
Yeah,
and I'm in a situation where I can enjoy it a minute. I'm sure as I wouldn't have that sitting on the dole. No matter how much you play the benefits or how much you think you can play the benefits and get away with, you're better off working. Get off your ass, go work.
Well,
100%, I agree with that. Just even for your self-respect.
It's just this is where the thing's wrong.
Is they don't make it easier for people to get up as a couple to go to work and earn a slightly lower income. You get penalised for it, and I think that's wrong.
Yeah,
well, that was one of.
If you're going to work and you're better off on the benefits, there's something wrong.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is where the system is wrong. They don't encourage you as a couple with kids.
It's helping the wrong people, and that's the problem.
Yeah, they're helping the wrong people. They're not helping the people who are wanting to go out and work and do the work. You know, as soon as they get earned, like I say, with the tax credits, they earn £1 or 1 penny over that. They're taking it off of them.
I mean, when my kids were growing up and we were claiming tax credits and that, I mean, we was always getting a reviewing saying you owe X amount of hundreds of pounds back because you've earned 10p more or whatever. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. They're not. They're penalising you.
No, you inform them constantly of any changes in your circumstances.
Yeah.
They still pick it up.
Yeah. You know,
But
this
it's
is
like during Andy, that's a valid point, because during COVID, my wife constantly said to them, "Listen, I'm being not forced. Forced is the wrong words, but it's like there's extra hours here. We're all being encouraged to do them. Not and like she was telling them, and it was nothing, and bang, a letter. Benefit stopped. You owe X amount because you've went over this threshold. It will take you X amount of time to clear that. So we now sit with a negative figure that we now have to pay back just because COVID hit and her work asked her to do extra hours.
just a few extra hours. Yeah.
Which the government should have turned around and said to whatever department it was, anyone in the National Health Service, anyone in any emergency service or otherwise, if they're doing extra hours during this crisis, that is covered. We cover that. Do not affect anything to do with anything else.
Yeah.
It's probably just a sort of minor oversight in their behalf, but
it always makes me laugh. We've all seen these programs on telly where they you know they've done one in Skegness and all over Essex, you know, where they go around and they it's like Benefit Street and all that.
Yeah.
It always makes because they're standing there with a very great 50-inch TV, can of beer in their hand, a fag in their mouth, going, "Yeah, we got no money." Well, yes, you fucking have. You're smoking, you're drinking, you're watching telly.
Yeah. And that's what pisses me off. I don't know.
There was a woman on the news this morning complaining about the price of food and that she's living in her overdraft. She must have been about 30 stone, had 7 chins. She was in a mobility scooter. She was moaning about how much it was to charge her mobility scooter up. So I said, well, listen, lose the weight, don't eat the food, get your ass out of the mobility scooter. It's a win-win.
Yeah.
And it's because we couldn't.
I can't afford to pay my bills. Well, you can afford to fucking eat.
It's because they've got used to it and they've become institutionalized, isn't it? Sort of thing, you know.
Too many people get used to doing that, putting their hand out and expecting money to be put in it. And it's you, me, and everyone else that's out there working and raising these taxes that goes into the system that goes back out.
Who do you blame? Do you do the people that are doing that, or do you blame the people that are giving them it? Because I blame the people
that are giving them it. It's the government because it's wrong.
It's the same. And it's the same people that are taking the road tax off of me for 2 motorbikes and 1 car, and I'm still driving in potholed roads. It's the same people that are giving out these benefits.
Right, you know, I'm glad I went up in the GS because I think if I'd have gone up on anything else, I've had no suspension system.
Yeah.
I'm telling you now, that's the thing. Road tax used to be spent on the road. It's not anymore. It's your council tax money.
Well, Matt, see, the thing about it is like, see, as far as I'm concerned, see any political party that was to turn around tomorrow and say that every penny that is raised in road tax must be spent in road tax, I'd vote for them tomorrow.
Yeah.
I would vote for them tomorrow because a tax that is designated to a certain thing cannot and should not be moved and put elsewhere.
Before, they turn road tax into an environment tax. And there's Simon sat there, he pays 0 road tax on his car because of the exhaust emissions, because it's an eco-friendly. If we're going electric next, so it's even more eco-friendly. That's why he hates electric, because it's, you know, he's already eco-friendly with his car.
It's left in that pool for hydrogen to fill the engine up with it.
Yeah. And then there's poor me with my little 1.6 Nissan Cube, you know, he's paying like 250 quid in road tax. It's like my next door neighbour.
I pay less tax on my 2.2 Range Rover than you pay on your car.
Yeah, because the exhaust emissions. Because it's an environment tax.
That's £100 a year cheaper because it's got to stop.
Yeah, stop start. It's an eco car. You know, and that's what I'm saying. It's not a road tax. It's an environment tax.
For my bike. That's an NCAP 506, that bike. How can
Yeah.
they still charge me 90 quid a year for it? It's
I
Barnett
know.
Staffordil.
Aye.
I pay 20 quid a year
I know.
for road tax on my little
The-
125.
the-
You know.
the-
21 quid now.
And Andy, the locals in the North Coast 500 are saying that the heather's looking very enriched since you were up. So
It is seriously that bit that went spreading fairy dust on them. That did. Oh,
that's that.
And
And
this is what I'm saying.
I do apologise that we fill our potholes with porridge up here as well.
But this is what I'm saying.
You've got to watch out for frogs.
Original.
And this is why the roads in England are shit. Because it's council tax now what pays for the roads being redone and the pavements. And the
See,
councils aren't willing to pay that out.
I've asked for a rebate because in my council tax I pay for police, fire engine and a few others. I don't use any of them.
No.
Don't pay for refuge collection because I fly tip that.
Yeah.
Don't use the police and nothing's burnt down.
Yeah. But this is what I'm saying.
I want a refund.
And it made me laugh because there was some because our council's in shit creek at the minute because the amount of wasted money they've done. Cheers, Burning. But there was an article in the paper and it says your council tax is used for resurfacing the roads and pavements and all this lot. And I'll put, have you seen the roads around my area? You know, it's like a patchwork fucking quilt. You know, and it's like, what happened to the road tax being used on the roads? But no, it's an environment tax now. And that's what it bloody is. You know, it's disgusting. So, well, yeah, no problem, Simon. Sorry.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming and joining us. And sorry we can't go on much longer, but I've got a really early start in the morning. I've got to go up to Coventry.
No problem.
No
sorry,
problem,
I'm ranting and raving about bloody politics.
And another thing.
Yeah.
No, Simon, thank
you. Hang on a minute.
Yeah, thank you, Simon. Sorry about that. I got
say that again, Stu.
Bless you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Are you driving up or are you riding up, Simon?
I'm riding up to Coventry. I've got to go and do my medical for me class 1. So
okay. So I wish you the safest journey then, pal.
Another safe trip.
Oh, it's a tiny lad. God.
I don't know if it should be a bit cooler tomorrow, hopefully, because I got overheated today. I'm really feeling it. So
take your clothes off, son. Where will I put them, Doctor? Next to mine.
I'm down to 17 degrees, and I'm struggling in this 17 degrees.
Yeah. Sorry, Exeter. Yeah, we're winding it up now, mate. So yeah. Well, thank you, guys, for joining us. Don't forget, everybody, follow them.
Zed's going to do one.
No,
you're going to jump on
go live again, Zed.
I might. I don't know. See how the wind goes. I don't know.
You want me to help you set it up, or can you manage yourself this time?
Listen. See when you look back in that, whose mic was it? It wasn't switched on.
I'd switch the fucker off.
I was drunk enough to think it was my problem.
He didn't get to meet the person that travelled 400 miles to see him.
Anyway, we'll end it there. Night, guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, been a pleasure, guys.
And I'll see you all soon. Take care.
All the best.
Rub down. Enjoy that, Andy.
Yeah.
Laters.